Hello everyone, my name is Sophie from the International Secretariat for Water. Welcome in the Youth Perspective from the MENA region session. Thank you very much to everyone participating in the organization, particularly to Mediwatt. This session is translated from English to French, so you can choose in which language you wish to listen to it. And I will now pass it over to Adil, who will be moderating the sessions. If you have any question, you can write it down in the chat box, and then Adil will ask the question after each speaker moment. Thank you and enjoy the session.
Thank you, Sophie, for this introduction, and hello, everybody. So my name is Adil Jouama. I'm from Morocco. I'm the African focal point in the World Youth Parliament for Water. And thank you for being here. Thank you for accepting the invitation to be in this important activities which will gather the integration of youth people in the MENA region, do the important role in this region. This session, which were held by the Mediwatt, the Mediterranean Youth for Water Network, in collaboration with the Blue Peace, represented by Mr. Ahmed Al-Bourei, which supported a lot in moderating and coordinate with all speakers and facilitators during this session. So to be more quick, I will show you, highlight the agenda of this session. We will start by give you a perspective about Mediwatt. What is Mediwatt, our perspective, the network of Mediwatt, potential of Mediwatt, and the major role Mediwatt are played in the Mediterranean basin. Then we will move to Liane from Palestine. She will highlight the potential of water and the obstacles facing water issues in the Palestinian territory. Then we will move to Maya, which will represent the Lebanese chapter of the Youth Parliament for Water. Then, least but not last, Mr. Redouane Khalifat, we will from Morocco, and he will highlight how we can monitor the youth and integrate them in the youth in the water diplomacy and water advocacy in the Mediterranean basin. So I will start with Giuseppe. We will represent the Mediwatt. Giuseppe, he's a water activist. In fact, he's an environmentalist. Also, he is a water hero winner. He won the Water Hero Contest in 2019, which participates in the World Water Day workshop held in Morocco. And since that moment, he became an active member in the Mediterranean Youth for Water Network, and really he impacted positively the network. And he is right now with us in order to represent the Mediwatt, the network to all over the world. So, Mr. Giuseppe, the floor is yours, my friend.
Thank you so much, Adil. And yeah, after this great presentation, I just feel the pressure, so I need to present really well. And can I ask for the presentation? I can share my screen, right? Or
yes,
do you?
Yes,
okay.
Yes, you can share your screen. Very good.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, give me just a moment. Okay, thumb up if it's working, and then I can start. Adil, ready, set. Okay, thank you so much, everybody. I'm really happy to be here. You already know who I am, thanks to Adil, but don't believe me, I'm not so good. I'm so good just because I'm the vice coordinator of Mediwatt. And I'm really happy to present Mediwatt today because the potential of this network is growing and growing, and we really want to unleash the potential. So basically, I will go really fast on this. We were born in 2017, and thanks to the work of the CMI, so the Center of Mediterranean Integration in Marseille. It is a platform for high stakeholders in the Mediterranean to connect, create knowledge, share best practices. So we are basically a platform of youth. So I would say that Mediwatt is an horizontal network where everyone have the power to promote ideas, to connect with other members, to create. And I mean, we have only, let's say, 4 years, but we are really working hard and we have a lot of things going on, activities and research papers. I will just highlight some of them just to make you a good idea on what we are. So right now there are over 200 members, and in Mediwatt, the majority of the members comes from the MENA region. So we also, let's say, look at the northern shore of the Mediterranean. For example, I'm one of the few Italians, and there are a few French, some Spanish, Portuguese, and also from the Balkans, there is someone, but the strong part of Mediwatt is coming from the MENA region. And also we have a really strong representation of academics. So university professors, researchers, students. And in the last year, we saw a lot more entrepreneurs and activists like me coming in the network. So it's growing also in different directions. Basically, what we do, of course, the objectives are like these. So to connect and engage Mediterranean youth, to create a very strong platform for best practice exchange. And of course, at the end, let's say the impact that we want to create is to really make Mediwatt members to meet and talk with key decision makers in the region. So these are, let's say, our dreams at the end. What we do practically. So every member in the network can propose ideas. For example, in this year of pandemic, where we didn't meet each other for at least 2 years, we are working hard with webinars. So for example, you can see on the left, a webinar held by Dr. Hussam Hussein, that is like a lecturer in Oxford. And we did this webinar on policy. And also on the right, you can see we were partnering with NAPI, that is another nice network working really hard in the North Africa to empower youth on policy. And you can see both, we use the word policy because at the end, our network is growing and we are really struggling to understand how to connect with policymakers. Because at the end, you can do a lot of research, you can do a lot of great work as an entrepreneur, but if you want to change things, especially in the Mediterranean with so many actors, we need youth in the room of the buttons, we say in Italian, so where the decisions are taken. And at the moment, I will say that there is a lot of efforts coming from youth, but we are not really, again, in the room where the decision is taken. So this is like our final goal. And I will just leave these open questions for the other panelists, but also, again, who is participating in this webinar. How we can connect strongly with policymakers in the Mediterranean, and specifically, how we can empower our members to create a real impact in the water field. Because these are questions that looks like easy or maybe overused, but still we don't have a strong answer. And if I can add on that, I just put this image that I found it nice. Mediwatt is strong, is very good, but we are a piece of the puzzle. And we need to connect strongly with other youth organizations and youth, especially in the Mediterranean, but also outside Mediterranean, to make the real impact. Alone, we cannot do it. So this is like, again, a call for who is listening to this. If we want to achieve the real impact in the Mediterranean, we really need to unite together and be strong on that. So I think I'm on time. So thank you so much for listening. I hope if you have any questions, just ask. And yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Giuseppe, for being on time and be more quick and straight to the topic. So any questions? If someone would love to participate, Julian are mentioned in the chatting box that it's a pleasure for Julian and for all of us to have like Mediwatt members, and she hopefully hope to collaborate with the Mediwatt to solve issues in the Mediterranean basin. So I will have like a question, and also it's another of open discussion about the Mediwatt is how we open the collaboration for the other association. If association or maybe an organization or maybe a network would love to participate or to collaborate with the Mediwatt, what is the procedure? There is something integrally, or it's open for all, or maybe there is a procedure to follow. So could you please like highlight the most specific things? Thank you.
Yeah, sure. So maybe I can say that to start a cooperation is always better just to have a really honest conversation, like the one we had with NAPI, the North African Policy Initiative. We were just going straight to the point. We want to achieve policy making and give our members policy making tools, because we know that we don't have so strong that point. So starting from that conversation, we started collaborating with this first webinar. This one was only, the first webinar. But the point is, at the end, if we don't conversate, if we don't talk about the problems with other organizations, we are just in our box trying to do our work, we are not going to achieve something really special. Of course, Mediwatt is doing a really great work, but at some point, you need to open to the others and to see, again, the piece of the puzzles. We can give a really good point on, I don't know, water technologies or other stuff like that. But if you don't partner with someone that is specialized in water policies or something else, you cannot grow. I mean, you cannot give impact to your members and outside your network. So this is the point. So no strict rules to cooperate, really honest conversation and just a lot of work to do. Yeah, so that's it.
Thank you, Giuseppe, for clarifying things. So we have another question from Mohammed Arrar. So he asked you about, could you briefly tell us about the main projects that have been implemented in the MENA by the Mediwatt, by the Mediterranean Youth for Water Network? So what is the main project that's really Mediwatt get famous with, or maybe get viral with in the Mediterranean basin?
Okay, so just to be like more precise, what we achieve as there is like, we can achieve things like Mediwatt, for example, CMI, to answer, is helping us and mentoring us to publish high-level papers in academic journals about water, specific issues in the MENA region, for example. And Adil, I think you published one, so you can also add on that. But what we are really doing, so let's say we don't have, we didn't build a desalination plant somewhere as Mediwatt, but we are empowering our members that are working on a topic to connect with high-level organization or with other Mediwatt members to make a better impact on their work. So it's like, we are just more like a structure that is helping people inside to reach their goals. And I think at the end, in this way, Mediwatt is working really good, because there is a lot of people that, thanks to Mediwatt, reached a good, I don't know, PhD position, because there was people giving good advice on that. I can make many examples of this. So if you, we are also participating in a high-level European projects, for example, and one of the last that is still ongoing, it's a PRIMA project. And again, it is about giving all the people inside Mediwatt and hopefully also outside the tools to enhance their impact. So this is really what I can say. So this is the real targets for us. And that's why we are looking for cooperation. Hope I answered the question.
Yes, thank you, Giuseppe. Really, it's you clarify things. So I think if in case there is no other questions to add or there is no other maybe things to add in your presentation, really on behalf of the CAMS team or on behalf of the Parliament, thank you one more time for this special moment, and thank you one more time for this presentation and to show the media what to all the people in this meeting with us. So right now we will move to second speaker, which will be Liane from Palestine. Liane, honestly, she has a very interesting academic career. So in fact, she is an environmentalist, but she has a strong background in medicine and health. So she used that the techniques and the knowledge she had in Faculty of Medicine in order to implement and to face the environmental issues that are related to the human impact health. So Liane, she's from Palestine, and she is the coordinator of the Public Health Department and the Environment Unit. So she will represent the Save Youth Future Society in Palestine, and she heard many prizes around, and she participates in many organizations and networks all over the world. So Liane, the floor is yours. You can like highlight in 10 minutes your network, your association, how you involve the youth people in the water sector in the MENA region.
Okay, thank you, Adel. Thank you so much. Please present my presentation and screen share. Screen. Share that, please.
Is it the presentation you sent already in it?
Just give me 1 little second, sorry.
Okay, thank you. Next. Hi, I'm Liane, and I presented the Environmental Unit and the Climate Change in the Save Youth Future, SYFS, and I'm very happy that we are here, happy to participate in this very sensitive and wonderful topics. So hi everyone in all your places, and I hope everyone in good health and safety. Before I talk about topics today and starting presenting it, I would like to introduce you to the institution of which I'm a representative and deputy here. The Save Youth Future Society is an independent non-governmental organization founded in 2001, and it invests in the energies of Palestinian youth and go deeply into their role in order to own their density and lead community change with an approach based on strengthening belonging and identity. Next. And the Environmental and Climate Change Unit, EUCC, is one of the most important units in the Save Youth Future Society, which was established in 2017. It's a leader voluntary unit in health environmental work through the ability to prepare an environmental youth team that can educate people in general about what the climate suffers from at the local and regional level, and to reveal the environmental problems facing our society and to develop strategic solution to them on the ground. Next. Okay, Environmental Unit and Climate Change volunteers from different universities and specializes such as geologic engineering, translation, media, human medicine, psychologist, nutritionist, as shown in the pictures. And the environmental units and the climate change aims to equalize the distribution of tasks between men and women in percentage 51% men and 49% in women. Next. And because today's topic are very important, seriously. Next, please. Okay. And because topics today is seriously very important, I thank the Global Youth Parliament for Water for this wonderful activity and event that needed it and are very important. Topics today is themed the challenge facing in the water sector in Palestine and the problems arising from it and the role of youth in finding solution of them. We all know and are fully aware that water is one of the most essential elements for the continuation of life on the surface of the earth, and any shortage of this important and dangerous element in your life leads to real disaster. You needed sometimes the absence or interpretation of water become a matter of life or death. In the last country, as a result of the steady population growth and a great development in the industrial agriculture fields, the demands of water has increased dramatically. At the time when the land in wasting, the depletion of water sources for many reasons, the most important of which in the shortage of water reserves in the underground reservoirs. And the occurrence of climate change that have led to many rivers and water bodies dry up in addition to pollution. Next. Next, Elsa. Okay. Today we'll talk about what are the challenges facing in the water sector, and then I will discuss the problems caused by imbalance in the water sector, and I will talk about the role of youth finding a solution and the mechanism for working this solution. So what are the challenges facing the water sector in Palestine? In the beginning, I would like to show some statistics. Only about 25% of the residents of the Gaza Strip receive water in their homes for a period of up to 7 hours per day, while 65% of them receive in for 7 hours every 2 days, and 10% every 3 days. Can you imagine with me that the price of desalined water in treatment plants and is from 10 to 30 times higher than that transported by pipelines, which imposes additional financial burdens on the population who suffers as a result of high poverty and unemployment rates by more than 50%. Number 3, it's estimated that about 68% of the desalined water in the Gaza contaminant, which increases its spread of disease and malnutrition. Next. The first challenge in the water sector is occupational related provision and destruction. The Palestinian-Israel conflict has severely damaged the water and wastewater infrastructure in the Gaza Strip and the West Bank. This is turn had a great negatively impact on the Palestinian people in the two areas, including the lack of regular, adequate, safe, affordable water, in addition to the lack of an effective wastewater system, which increased their daily suffering, but also poses a threat to public health and safety. And the second challenge I will mention is institution weakness. This point is a catastrophic, seriously, because we need the strengthening of institution and supporting and funding. Just imagine with me, over the past 30 years, only 6 of the 30 planned wastewater treatment plants submit to the Joint Water Committee, JWC, have been approved. Just, have you really imagined that? Seriously, the truth that this situation is not fishing, because it is an unfortunate reality. Next. Okay. Third point I will talk about that the challenge is a lack of funding. Almost all water sector development projects in Palestine depend on the international funding and support. The budget of the Palestinian water only cover salaries and administrative expenses. Therefore, donors play an important role in the Palestinian water sector. The general economic situation forced the financier to give the opportunity to the poorest or most needy, or even arrange funding priorities according to the most in emergencies. In the event that the donors fails to obtain approval to the project, especially an environmental project, they will either postpone or decline that the project or relocated fund to other sector. The fourth challenge, it's a technical limitation of developing to groundwater resources. This restriction work, in addition to the weakness of Palestinian institution and the lack of wastewater treatment, contribute to the widespread pollution of groundwater reservoirs. Next. Okay. Water pollution, especially in the Gaza Strip, is greater than in the West Bank, and it's summarized that in the following points. Not the number with me. Amount of chloride in some areas reach 1,500 milligram per liter, and the area from which low chloride level and are extracted 250 milligram per liter don't exist 45 square kilometer in the northern regions and 35 square kilometer in the south regions. According to the Langert division, the water in the Gaza Strip is classified in alkaline water quality with a high amount of chloride. Next. 85% of the water wells in the Gaza Strip are not suitable for drinking due to the alkaline component, increasing the salt content in the southwest regions and part of the central region to reach about 1,000 milligram per liter. Increase the nitrate content and tens of times over the internationally recommended. Next. Okay, that diagram or a graph shows the accurate level of chloride and nitrate in Gaza Strip. Next. Today we'll mention the health problems caused by water pollution. Number one, impact on food chain. Water pollution affected the nature of food chain as it is a result of pollutants ingested by some small aquatic organism like a lead, like cadmium. They transfer these pollutants to the other organisms that feed on them, which are consumed by other fish, which lead to their death. Their death means the destruction of the food sources in fish that will die from starvation, or that will move to other places in search of food. Dying, it's because of pesticide that are contaminant water, or because of sediment that can suffocate this that live in the bottom. Number 2, impacts on human health. Water pollution poses a threat to human health because it causes a multiple disease, and contaminant water can contain bacteria, virus, pathogenic parasites that are transmitted to humans through drinking water and cause disease to about 1 billion people every year around the world. And the damage may sometimes lead to death. In the study published in Lancet, it showed that in 2015, water pollution caused the death of about 1.8 million people, and the communities that live near factories that spread pollutants remain more vulnerable to the damage of pollutant water. Next. Untreated drinking water contains some types of harmful bacteria which may cause abdominal pain, nausea, headache, diarrhea, and abdominal cramps, vomiting, as shown in the picture. Next. Drinking water may contain some types of various viruses that may cause a number of diseases that lead yellowing, loss of appetite, fatigue, high temperature and high fever, constipation, and gastroenteritis. Next. Okay, what is it? The role of youth in finding innovation or innovative solution for the water sector. The role of youth in this process of a change. Engaging youth in seen as essential to creating sustainable and inclusive growth. So working with youth has become increasingly popular. It's one of the main trends that are starting to make their way in the most countries and societies follow up, and as we adapt to our new reality, we need to think creatively and collectively. Youth is an integral part of this process. A private institution and organization have begun to provide funds for the water sector currently to innovation project owners. As a volunteer aspect, it's selected teams related to a water sector for this interested, and began to train and educate them in this in the reality and regard. And from here, young people started to educate their peers through social network or in face-to-face member. And with the passage of time, young people have become responsible for conferences with experts. Young people do workshop, university clubs, voluntary and environmental initiative. Next. As an example of environmental unit and climate change, we carried out many awareness raising initiative and workshop and partnership. A qualitative initiative at the level of Palestinian for the first time, where the environmental unit and climate change in the future records youth association participated with the Islamic Relief, founded in the first qualitative initiative in Palestine, which is cleaning the Gaza spot basin by sea and land. As part of the initiative, هترجع لك, which means it will return to you, which highlighted the importance of cleanliness of the area and not throwing garbage inside it. The initiative has more than 30 divers from the Gaza Strip, in addition to hundreds of volunteers, governmental and civil institutions, and Palestinian universities. We in the Environmental Climate Change Unit and SYFS affirm that contributing of such initiative due to their great importance in our Palestinian society, which severe and previous our environment.
So thank you, Lian, for this interesting presentation. In fact, you spent like more than 10 minutes in your presentation, and we have like a serious question in the chat box. So we will try to answer them more quickly. And in the end of this discussion, we can come back to this on details on these questions. So the first question is we have from Maya. She asked about how you can keep the youth motivated, involved, and commitment to be a water activist or to participate in your activities due this pandemic, due their engagement. So what is your strategy to keep the youth engaged in your association?
Okay, sure. In youth, in climate change and sorry, that will lead to participate youth in voluntary working, that lead to only that can contribute society to beauty, and the voluntary working and participate in this working are very wonderful. This situation can lead to develop yourself, especially in men or women. So contributing can lead to developing yourself. That's lead in environmental working.
So thank you, Lian, for your answer. And in fact, we have like 2 or 3 other questions, but we will move to other speaker right now because we spend like more time in this issue. I'm so sorry, Mohammed Al-Arar. We will back to your question. Honestly, it's a very good question which highlight the cooperation, transboundary cooperation, in fact, between 2 countries. Due to the issue we have we know already in this area. Also, Daniel, we will back to your question that related to the water sanitation in the pandemic situation right now. So in this moment, we will move to Maya. She's representing, or she's the president of the Lebanese Parliament for Youth for Water, the Lebanese chapter, in fact. I will highlight how Maya, honestly, she's a strong woman. She represents the fact of gender balance in the MENA region. She's a PhD student. She earned her PhD in the water water resource management from Canada. And since that moment, she joined many organizations and network, and she worked as a consultant, private consultant, in fact, that's related to the field of GIS, geoinformation system, data management, and also hydrogeology. So Maya, the floor is yours. You have like 10 minutes to present your chapter and Okay, I will quit my microphone.
Hello, everyone.
Okay, Maya, the floor.
Hello. Can you hear me? Okay, so I'm just going to say hi with my video on and then close it because of connection problems. So hello, everyone, and it's very nice to see you virtually. And I will share my presentation in a minute. Just let me know if you can see my presentation. Yep, okay, see the hands up. Let me put this like this. Okay, oops, sorry. Let's go to the first slide. Okay, I just wanted to thank you for introducing me. Actually, my PhD is in water resource engineering. I did it in Canada 3 years ago, and I came back to my country, Lebanon, because of my connection to this country. So I am the president of the Lebanon Youth Parliament for Water. And today my presentation is going to be about the water resource challenges and opportunities in the sector. So again, just as an overview of the Lebanon Youth Parliament for Water. So we are a group of volunteers working together. We're friends. We've become like a family that work together on issues of policy, advocacy and awareness, research. We look at different laws and rules and regulations that are implemented in terms of in the water sector, and we discuss amongst ourselves, and we are involved with a few syndicates with the ministry so we can hear what's happening and keep updated. We work at the advocacy level. We have done multiple capacity building, awareness sessions, workshops in universities and schools in different regions of Lebanon, not just focusing on the capital, which is Beirut. So we looked at different regions. We have different focal points in each area, trying to enhance or promote water as a national priority in our country. We are a group of researchers. We are PhD students, graphic designers, engineers, communication. So we have different backgrounds, scientists, chemists. We come together and we really like research. So we are trying to make a collection of the research that has been done in our country in relation to water and how we could take this forward in order to implement this at the level of the policy. So trying to translate this research into policy. Now, going back into Lebanon, the Lebanese context. Lebanon is usually described as the country with plenty of water resources. And mainly, this is because we have around one river in each 750 kilometers squared. However, the problem is that the dimensions of these rivers are not too big, so the flow is small. And in addition to that, the discharge and the rivers and springs have regressed to more than 50% over the last 5 decades. And this has been accompanied with a lowering of our water table. In addition, the rate of water availability has declined by 32% between 2011 and 2016, reaching around 921 cubic meter per capita per year available. This could be attributed, one, to population growth, and to changes in lifestyles and eating habits. So we are consuming products that require more water. We have a large number of displaced refugees from the surrounding countries due to war and political instability. Climate change has impacted our water resources. A lot of studies have showed the reduction in flow in some of the major rivers in Lebanon due to climate change. And how the projections show that future projections of climate change, how water flow will be decreasing also. In addition to that, at the level of water quality, we have water pollution for more than 50% of our Lebanese water resources, which are contaminated. Basically, this is because our wastewater is directly discharged into some rivers, and we have outfalls into the sea. And so the wastewater effluent is discharged directly into our water bodies. Although there are some wastewater treatment plants, some are not working, and some are not connected to the distribution network, to the collection network. So looking at the water demand and water supply in Lebanon, mainly our highest sector is the agricultural sector, which requires between 62 to 85% of our water. And this, of course, ranges based on climate, precipitation, all of that, but it does consume a large portion of the water demand. And you can see the figure shows some projections, which also say that irrigation requirement is going to increase in the future. Domestic water requirement or demand is around 26%. Our rivers provide us with the majority of water for agriculture, for irrigation and domestic. However, they also provide hydropower generation for about 10% of the electricity needs in our country. And if the rivers, and sometimes we use, of course, a lot of times we have a different illegal private wells or legal private wells that are dug, that are used in order to irrigate the agricultural areas. At the level of the water supply, our network, our water supply network does not cover the whole country. So the average in the country is 78%. The remaining are not connected to a water supply source. And that, of course, that percentage changes over the different establishments. So you can look, Beirut is 93%, and then you have the north of Lebanon, which is 65%. So this variation shows that only 35% of our water needs, of the total water demand, is met. And in addition to that, we have the aging of our water network supply networks. So we have some networks are 30 years old, and that leads to around 40% of losses in the network. So we do have a problem here. We need to end this problem. We know what it is. The solution is known. We can really work for it. However, the problem is in the management. So going back to management and raising awareness of how this is important and how going back to the basics is essential in our country. Looking at water and SDGs in Lebanon, so regarding how we are performing or not performing that well, for example, indicator 6.2.3 on water bodies of water with good ambient water quality, we have a well-pronounced problem in Lebanon, and we need systematic monitoring and control. In regards to 6.4.2, freshwater withdrawal as a proportion of available freshwater resources, also it is high, the problem, and we require legislations and environmental control to be elaborated in order to minimize this problem. So I'm not going to go over them all, but we do have a major problem and we know what are the solutions. Just as some numbers for the wastewater network supply. So as I said, we have a large number of our waste going into our rivers, and basically because our network coverage only covers 60% of Lebanon, and then only 8% of that collected is treated, shared, and used. So only 8%. So we have this is a challenge, but it's also an opportunity for us to improve. I will not go over all of these just for the sake of time, but this is how our policy framework works in Lebanon. So between 1975 and 1990, Lebanon came out of civil war with ruined infrastructure, completely disorganized administration, fragmented territory. We had a 10-year water plan in regards to the water sector. And then in 2000, we had a very famous law for us. It's the Law 221, and it organizes our water sector and reduces the amount of 22 water offices to basically 4 regional water establishments, and then the Litani River Authority, which is responsible for that river and that watershed because it is very important in Lebanon. So we had one specific authority for the Litani. We had in 2010 a national water sector strategy, and then a national strategy for the wastewater sector. And then in 2018, the water code was passed. As you can see, one of the major challenges we face is a lot of institutions are responsible for different things in management of water, and there's limited collaboration, organization between these different ministries. Each one is responsible for something, but they do not coordinate together. The water code, which is now, it's recently amended by Law 192/2020, puts into effect water registers that allow public authorities to establish an inventory of water resources. It enforces a water master plan. It outlines founding principles of legal conventions related to the water sector. It's actually very comprehensive. It proposes new tools to manage the water sector. And then this national water sector strategy in 2020 was updated to include components that improve on sustainability and integrated water resource management in Lebanon. And it does have like different sectors. These are the most, these are just a few that I highlighted, which is one, implementing legal and institutional framework reforms, developing reporting and monitoring mechanisms, capacity building at the Ministry of Energy and Water and the 4 regional water establishments, and financial and commercial reforms. So this is what I wanted to highlight about this. Oh, and also we have in this strategy, we have an integrated hydrological information system that requires expanding meteorological and hydrometric and snow monitoring stations, setting up central databases, and having a GIS platform, improving knowledge of global climate change impact on Lebanese water resources. So it's really, really comprehensive. However, the problem comes on the implementation, and that's where our role is. Trying as youth, we are trying to always push towards keeping water a national priority, not only on paper, but also in terms of implementation. And we need some of our recommendations is to increase the accountability and monitoring of the decision-making, increase transparency and sense of ownership and trustworthiness for all the projects that are happening in Lebanon, creation of a collective vision in managing of our natural resources, increasing people's support and acceptance of the policies, long-term sustainability of the identified projects, and empowering local initiatives and the voice of youth. And last but not least, science community interface and partnership. So we try as much as possible to work at these different levels and try to be the voice of the youth in Lebanon. Thank you. And again, together we can make water a national priority. Thank you.
Thank you, Maya, for this interesting presentation, and which highlights your major role and your potential in the region of Lebanon. So I think we don't have like so much question, but we will back to you in the discussion session at the end of this session. In case someone has a question to Maya, please read it in chat box in order to give me a vision about your question and your intervention in this session. So right now we will move to Mr. Radwan. We will move Mr. Radwan. He is a coach, he's a mentor. He's the director of the Mediterranean Forum to implement the SDG goals, the Sustainable Development Goals, which start from Morocco to all the MENA region. Mr. Radwan, he's a mentor. He's gathered many youth in his forum all over the world and most specifically in the Mediterranean basin, which they give them the competence and skills, how they face their fears, how they communicate. And lately he written a book about the role of body language in the communication, really is interesting. And I wish in the end of these books, we will like have a specific discussion about this amazing work you made, Mr. Radwan. So Mr. Radwan, he will highlight how he keep the enthusiasm of youth in the Mediterranean basin, focus in the implement in the Sustainable Development Goals, and more specifically those related to the water sector. Mr. Radwan, the floor is yours. You can talk and introduce yourself and talk about your experience in the region. Your mic is off.
Hello, everybody. Greetings from Morocco. So thank you so very much, MediaWatch, for the invitation. Really, really very happy and very honored to be among you here, and to share some experience and how to collaborate, as Mr. Giuseppe said. So it's a partnership. So I will give you in this from the beginning, because I prefer to share some real experience in order to share that experience, because sharing is caring. I believe in those things. So I started my career as a primary teacher, primary school teacher, and I started in a very remote area. So the school where I work, there has no internet, no roads, and no electricity, and a big problem of water. So it was, and the nearest village, it was about 2 hours. So you can imagine that in the mountains. So, and that since that moment, so my life changed. So I decided to do something. So yeah, I know that the circumstances are difficult. I know all these things, but I ask a question: what can I do in order to be a part of the solution, not a problem? Because everyone can complain, but not all people can look for solutions. So the first thing I started with my children, with my students. They were 7 to 8 years old. Okay, I started with them, and I thought, because I always believe that the change, we can make change, because if you want to make a change, start with the children. Why children? Because when you invest on children, you invest on 3 generations. So you can imagine, when you work with adult people, you work with 1 generation or 2, but with children, at least you work with 3 children. And if you want to make, and if we compare the countries who are rich now, because they invest on their human resources, and the backbone of the human resources are the children. So I started with the children. I know that media won't see me. I want that the government won't see me. I want that I will be unseen, but my students they see me, and we work together. So we started working, and we did many activities, very simple activities, but I worked on the mindset, because as I told you, so I always believe in those things. So the first year, the second year, the third year, so I moved to a near city. So after 7 years, so I became near a city. So I said that I have to work not only with my children, but with the young people, okay? With young people, because as you know, I work with women. I work with so I joined, I set an association. I joined some clubs. Then I started working on the local level in the city and with young people. So then I decided, in order to expand my work and to expand, so I worked with children, with young people. So I can share with you some pictures here. So yeah. So can you see the picture now? The pictures, can you see my PowerPoint? Okay. So here, when I came, so I started working with young people, because if there is something, we all talk sometimes, we talk about children, we plan for children, but the problem, we plan for children, but we don't evolve children. We plan for young people, but we don't evolve them. Can you hear me? Do you hear me, please? Okay, so as I said, so sometimes we plan for children, but we don't evolve children. We plan for women, but we don't evolve women. And there is a proverb that if you plan with me, for me, if you want to do something best for me, but we don't involve in me, it is against me. So first thing I did here when I moved to the city, so I started working with young people. In order, those young people, so I try to set a team, because I believe in team together, everyone achieves more. And for just as a person, I can go far, but with remember with the team we can go further. So fast and further. So we started with building a team and trying to work on sustainable development goals after attending some events. So I delivered some mini workshops for young people. Those young people here, this is my team in Morocco. This is the organizing team of the Mediterranean Forum of Sustainable Development Goal. They are 20 years old. The oldest are 27 years old, and we organize one of the biggest events here in Morocco, which is the Mediterranean Forum for Sustainable Development Goals. Because if you want to share, as I told you, so this is the team, and this is the work with children. After I worked so I started working with team, with children, then with young. Now those young people started working with children. You know, so this is to make the impact. So now we are working on, I worked with children. I delivered a lot of training for children. Then for young people, those young people were able to deliver many trainings. And here, this is my team. Now this is the team, and this is the young people. Okay, they are planning, they are organizing, they are doing everything. And we are organizing the biggest event as one of the biggest events. In that picture, you can see the children, their parents, the parents, the headmasters, the directors, the young people, everyone. It's the participatory approach. In that room, there were more than 1,000 people. So starting from children to the United Nations responsibles, okay? So, and here you see, so the parents, and as I told you, from the child to the United Nations nations, and here we have the private sector, the public sector, and everyone who can participate, okay? Who can participate. This is the United Nations director here in Morocco, and he comes and he discusses with children, with young people. This is the private sector. This is the CEO of one of the 5th strongest company in the world. It's SPS. He believes in us, and he is a partner. The first meeting with him, I was given 10 minutes in order to discuss with him. The 10 minutes became 2 hours, 20 minutes in the first meeting, and Mr. Hourani now, and the 10 minutes became all that time because he believes in you, he believes in us, because I believe in me. Now children organize their own activities, and we say, okay, we work with children. Now we work with, these are speakers from 15 countries who visit us in Morocco, who pay their tickets in order to deliver some workshops because they deliver. So imagine, I started one person, now I have a team in the whole world. Speakers come to Morocco to deliver. These are people from United States, from all over the world. Each year, we receive 15 countries that share their experience delivering workshops, and this is for the water on sustainable development goals. So we receive people, they share their experience. Now we started with small children, with 10 or 20 children in a remote area. Now we receive people from all over the world, and we work with 15 children every year. We work with 15,000 children and young people. Okay. Why? Because I believe in something which is, this is the team. And they are trying to learn from the worldwide, and we organize the global festival. Here, 1,000 children participate in a carnival in the whole city, in order that everybody want to initiate and to make sensibilization to children. Now we make the contrary. So now the children are making the sensibilization campaigns. So they are not receiving, but they are doing the impact. And this is I'm very happy because everybody wants to work with children. Now children are sensibilizing, are they sensitizing their parents and the whole city, because at one here, the whole city, the main streets are closed in order to give the permission in order to attend the children carnival on sustainable development goals, including water. So here also, you know, be creative, and the children themselves, they did the things that you are doing, that you are seeing now. And this is the health, this is the water. We work on the sustainable development goals. We try to deliver some workshops, and we say, okay, you can innovate anything. You are free to do whatever you want, okay? So here, and you say, and here we talk about the 17 goals starting from, and in order not to finish the work, so we launched a new project called a new initiative called Youth in Action. And Youth in Action, the philosophy in Youth in Action, I was very happy to launch that initiative. It's we ask young people, what are the workshops you need to attend, and who are the speakers you want. So here we work now. We delivered 40 workshops till now for free, and the beneficiaries, the young people, choose the topics and they choose the speakers. So, and now they are the young people who deliver the training. So always we want to make, I don't say we give opportunities. So monitoring young people, it's not about giving workshops, but how to qualify them to do things themselves. You know, here we have, this is the designer of the logo of the Mediterranean Forum. That guy, he is 16 years old, and he is the designer of our logo, okay? We are very proud of him. And here that picture in order, because it's time now. Sorry, this picture, in order to say a last message. This, I'm very sorry because I just prepared that. So this picture, I chose it in order to tell you something. It is very, very special for me. That man, in 40 to 24 hours, he didn't believe me before the event. I went to him in order to convince him to participate in our event. And when I asked him for his phone number, he gave me the number of the person who is responsible in the, I can't say, it's the doorkeeper, in order, because he was not convinced to give me his phone number. And he gave me the number of a very, very small, very simple person. In 24 hours, he was making his hands there, and he tell me, we are very proud to work with you, and he is waiting for us to work with him. So just to believe in you, believe in yourself, and one day everybody will want to work with you. Thank you so very much. Thank you. Sorry, I can't hear you. Sorry, I have an internet problem. Sorry. Sorry, I can't hear you.
Adil, you're muted, I think.
I have an internet problem.
Adil, we can't hear you. No, we can't hear you. No, we still can't hear you. No.
Sorry, do you hear me now?
Redouane, we can hear you, but Adil's mic is not working. Maybe I'll just jump in then, since Adil's mic is not working until he figures that out. We are a little bit over the time for this session, but thank you so much to all the speakers. It was a really, really interesting It was a really, really interesting session. So thank you so much. Adil, maybe if you want to write in the chat, do you want to take maybe one question? Or should we, maybe you can sign it to me. You want
because
to
my time is
all right, so maybe since Adil, do you want to try again? No, we still can't hear you. All right, so unfortunately, I think we'll have to stop here for today's workshop. I really encourage you, I saw some people putting down some questions in the chat, so I really encourage you to take all of these questions to the cafeteria on our event page. I think all of our speakers have logged in and have accounts on the platform, so hopefully we can keep that conversation going. There's also a networking session that starts in 2 hours, or 1 hour and 50 minutes now. So all of you are invited to join this networking session. It's open to all participants. So please do join this session. Please sit at a table together and keep going, keep this conversation going. It was such interesting and important subjects that were addressed during this workshop. So maybe on that note, we will conclude. Thank you so much, everybody, and hopefully we'll see you for the rest of today's program. Thank you to all our speakers.